Peter Hodge, per Hodge, per Hodge. Peter Bordier Hodge, born 29 April 1957, is an Australian-Danish academic and Vice Chancellor of the University of Adelaide. He has previously served as President and Vice Chancellor of the University of Queensland and the University of South Australia. Educated at the University of Copenhagen, Professor Hodge pronounced Høj completed a Bachelor of Science where he majored in Biochemistry and Chemistry, a Master of Science in Biochemistry and Genetics, and a Doctor of Philosophy in Photosynthesis. He has worked in Denmark and Australia as a researcher and published multiple scientific articles. Hodge has also served on a number of different company boards in a variety of roles, including current roles on the board of Wine Australia and of the Australian Cancer Research Foundation. In 2017, he was elected chair of the Group of Eight, a lobby group that represents Australia's research-intensive universities. He was the Vice Chancellor of the University of Queensland from 2012 to 2020. Early years and education. Peter Hodge was born in 1957 to John and Bodil Hodge in Copenhagen, Denmark, where he attended high school at Birkerød Statsskole. He worked in a deer meat shop with his father while at school. Hodge attended the University of Copenhagen with a focus on biochemistry and chemistry. He continued his study at the Carlsberg Laboratory where he obtained a Master of Science degree in Biochemistry and Genetics. Furthermore, he completed his PhD in photosynthesis at Denmark's Royal Veterinary and Agricultural University. Hodge relocated to Melbourne in 1987 with his then-partner Dr. Robin van Heeswijk. In Melbourne, he attended the La Trobe University as a postdoctorate fellow. Career. In his first year at the La Trobe University, he became a professor, and he also obtained his own laboratory. Hodge was awarded the Bofringer Mannheim, now the Roche Molecular Biochemicals Medal, which was then awarded to outstanding biochemists and molecular biologists under the age of 40 in 1992. The University of Adelaide offered him a position as a professor of viticulture in 1995, and he was a professor at the university until September 2004. In 1997, he became the managing director of the Australian Wine Research Institute. He was the CEO of the Australian Research Council from 2004 to 2007. He served as the Vice Chancellor of University of South Australia from 2007 to 2012. Vice Chancellor of the University of South Australia. Hodge was Vice Chancellor of the University of South Australia from 2007 to 2012. While at the university, he was very clear in his support for the merging of the University of South Australia with the University of Adelaide. When asked about the merging of the universities, he said, "I've been very vocal on it, and I clearly believe that none of the three SA universities have enough scale." Vice Chancellor of the University of Queensland. Hodge became Vice Chancellor and President of the University of Queensland on 8 October 2012 and was preceded by Deborah Terrieo, who was acting Vice Chancellor at the time. He replaced previous Vice Chancellor Paul Greenfield, who resigned due to a nepotism admissions scandal that allowed his daughter to be admitted to the University of Queensland Medical School without meeting all the requirements. The deputy, Michael Kenninger, also left the university due to the scandal. The Chancellor of the University of Queensland, Mr. Peter Varghese, highlighted numerous different successes of Professor Hodge in his role during a recent interview. He said that Hodge led the development of UQ First philanthropic campaign, which has now raised $400 million of our $500 million target. And when Peter took up the Vice Chancellor position, UQ was ranked 90 in the academic ranking of world universities. Today it is ranked 55, he said. Hanbin. The Ramsay Center. During his time as Vice Chancellor, Hodge introduced a partnership with the Ramsay Center. The Ramsay Center is a philanthropic institute designed to advance education by promoting studies and discussion associated with the establishment and development of Western civilization. Hodge and the university proceeded to sign a $50 million deal with the Ramsay Center to offer an extended major in Western civilization. The deal saw the University of Queensland obtain $50 million to fund the course, offer 30 scholarships, each year worth $30,000, to students and hire 10 full-time equivalent academic staff. Hodge welcomed the major, highlighting that this was a rare deal that will benefit many students. Alternatively, there was much public debate about the introduction of the major, with many staff, students, and members of the public disagreeing with the decision over fears of academic freedom. Controversy with Drew Pavlo. Hodge also had to deal with the controversy surrounding student Drew Pavlo, who organized many rallies supporting Hong Kong against China and protests of UQ financial ties with China via the Confucius Institute. Drew was originally suspended for serious misconduct for 2 years. However, the university reduced it to a semester after an appeal to the university's Senate Disciplinary Appeals Committee (STAC). The University of Queensland was severely criticized by Liberal and National MPs such as Dave Sharma and Matt Canavan, who said that this incident only fueled claims that UQ was pro-China before it is pro-student. Current Affairs program 60 Minutes conducted an investigation on the incident, causing Hodge to make a statement via email that reiterated there were no foreign influence on decisions made at the university or IMP. He retired from his position as Vice Chancellor at the University of Queensland on 31 July 2020 after having announced his resignation in May 2019. He was replaced by Professor Deborah Terry Ao. Notable published works. Peter Hodge has published a number of journal articles. These include, but are not limited to, identification of a chloroplast-encoded 9K-polypeptide as a 2,4-feminist forest protein-carrying centers, 1987, journal article in the Journal of Biological Chemistry, written with Ib Svensson, Henrik Vibe Scheller, and Birger Lindberg Mahler. Molecular Evolution of Plant V-glucan endohydrolases, 1995, journal article in the Plant Journal, written with Jeffrey B. Finchershire, 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 Finchershire. Two cytosylic factors prevent promiscuity at the membrane surface. 1993, journal article in the Feb's Letters Journal, written with Trevor Lithgow and Nicholas J. Hugenrod. The Hayes proteins of wine, a summary of properties, factors affecting their accumulation in grapes, and the amount of bentonite required for their removal from wine. 2000, Proceedings of the ASF 50th Anniversary Annual Meeting. 149-154, written with D. Tattersall, K. Adams, K. F. Pocock, Yoji Hayasaka, and R. Heeswake. Resistance to an herbivore through engineered cyanogenic glucoside synthesis. Science. 293. 1826-8. 10.1126/Science. 1,062,249. 2001. The entire pathway for synthesis of the tyrosine-derived cyanogenic glucoside durin has been transferred from sorghum bicolor to Arabidopsis thaliana. Here, we document that genetically engineered plants are able to synthesize and store large amounts of new natural product. The presence of durin in the transgenic A. thaliana plants confers resistance to the flea beetle Philotreta nemorum, which is a natural pest of other members of the crucifer group, demonstrating the potential utility of cyanogenic glucosides in plant defense. Written with David Tattersall, Soren Bach, Patrick Jones, Carl Olsen, Jens Nielsen, Mads Hansen, and Birger Mahler. Multiple glucosyltransferase activities in the grapevine Vitis vinifera L. 2008. Australian Journal of Grape and Wine Research. 4. 4858. P858. 10.1111/J. 1755-238.1998. T-Bone 134. X. Written with Christopher Ford. Cloning and characterization of Vitis vinifera UDP glucose, flavonoid 3-O-glucosyltransferase, a homologue of the enzyme encoded by the maize bronziminous 1 locus that may primarily serve to glucosylate anthocyanidins in vivo. 1998. The Journal of Biological Chemistry. 273. 9224-33. 10.1074/JBC 273.15, 9224. Written with Christopher Ford and Paul Boss. Identification and characterization of a fruit-specific thaumatin-like protein which accumulates at very low levels in conjunction with the onset of sugar accumulation and berry softening in. 1997. Plant Physiology. 114. 759-69. Written with D. Tattersall and R. Heeswake. Appointments, memberships, honors, and awards. Professor Hodge is currently a board member of Wine Australia and of the Australian Cancer Research Foundation. He was a board member at the CSIRO from 2011-2014. He was the deputy chair of Universities Australia and chair of the group of 8 GOIC research-intensive universities. Hodge has served as a private member of the Prime Minister's Science, Engineering, and Innovation Council 1999-2004 and as an ex officio member 2006-2007. In 2016, he became a member of the Leadership Council on Cultural Diversity and a member of STEM Males Champions of Change. He is a member of the steering group for IP Group ANZ. Hodge is a Fellow of the Australian Academy of Technological Sciences, a Fellow of the U.S. National Academy of Inventors and Engineering, and a foreign member Natural Sciences class of the Royal Danish Academy of Sciences and Letters. He is an immediate past member of the Australian Government's Medical Research Advisory Board, April 2016 to July 2020. He was awarded the Centenary Medal in 2002 by the Australian Government for his services to science and the Australian wine industry. In 2015, he received the 2015 Outstanding Individual of the Year Award from the Council of Confucius Institute, also known as Hanbin. He was made a Companion of the Order of Australia AC in January 2019 for eminent service to higher education and to science, particularly to the commercialization of research and to policy development and reform. In April 2019, the Council for Advancement and Support of Education case presented Professor Hodge with its Asia-Pacific Leadership Award. Hodge has 3 honorary doctorates from the University of Copenhagen, the University of South Australia, and the University of Adelaide. Personal life. Hodge met and later married Dr. Robin van Heeswake 1956-2003. She was an Australian researcher that he met while he was studying and working in the Carlsberg Laboratory. His wife died of breast cancer in September 2003 at the age of 47. He has 2 children, a son Torbjorn 30 and daughter Stein 27. He moved to Australia in 1987, and Hodge is a dual Australian/Danish citizen. Peter's current partner is Mandy Thomas, the Executive Dean of the Creative Industries Faculty at Queensland University of Technology. References